Okay, so the Switch has been out for about a year, almost a year now. It's in January at the moment, end of January. And it's probably a good idea to just talk about the Wii U for a second. So, I just want to talk about how the Wii U is just simply a great console. Um, and that's objectively speaking. There's no other way around it. It's a great console. I'm not saying this as a fanboy. Nintendo is like my favorite console lines of all time, and I'm not saying that just because of that. So, um, that's just to tell you something. The thing about the Wii U is what makes it great is it's just got a crazy amount of exclusives, and these aren't just oh well, exclusives. Let's just throw it on the system. No, these are good exclusives. I've got about 30 games of exclusives, and plus more multipliers as well. So I got quite a few Wii U games, and that's plenty of entertainment. I reckon 15 games is enough to sort of justify a console's purchase. So like automatically it's good. And I've got so many exclusives, most of them being exclusives. And I've got just about all of them except, I got all the major ones, except, things like the Animal Crossing minigame one, and there was something else, I don't know. But there was a couple of the Mario Tennis that was pretty trash. But we got a good one coming up soon for the Switch, Mario Aces. Buy it. But anyway, it launched with Zombie U, and that's not. I mean, it's not the greatest zombie game of all time. It's actually quite generic. If you think about it, it's oh, they're spreading the disease and stuff. So typical zombie formula storyline. What do you know? But it works well, especially with the Wii U gamepad. How you go into your backpack and that. So I thought that's a solid game. Zombie U is solid, but it's no longer an exclusive. So I know it depends how you perceive it. I think it's an exclusive because it was on the Wii U for so long, and people just ignored it as soon as it came out for the other platforms. Pretty much. Because I mean, there's always other zombie games that they'd prefer to play, like Dying Light or Dead Island. Although Dead Island is my favorite zombie game. That game is clean. Um, I mean, you had Mario 3D World. That was an absolute banger. That came out at the end of 2013. I'm pretty sure, or was it 2014? Doesn't matter. It came out nonetheless. It is part of the system, and it is great. And then we got the follow up Mario Odyssey, which just was turned into greatness. So you got the Switch that is going to come up with just as many great exclusives. So I mean, the Switch is going to be almost just as good as the Wii U, possibly better. Because I mean, I'll tell you what, some of the games that are already released on the Switch are just absolute bangers. There's heaps of other games. I mean, Xenoblade. If you're an RPG fan, there's plenty of stuff for you. I mean, you got what's it, the FE? It's not called FE, isn't it anymore? Tokyo Mirage Sessions. If you're into that, and that's kind of clean. I mean, it's not the most like hardcore RPG ever, but it works. And you got Xenoblade, which I put in about 350 hours into my first playthrough, which is crazy. And then I'm not even talking about the other playthroughs I had after that. So I put in a stupid amount of hours into that game, and I can still play it to this day like crazy. So I can't wait to even revisit it, possibly this year. So like that game alone is almost enough for me to have a Wii U. Seriously. And if you don't have a Switch, which is kind of redundant because eventually everyone's gonna own a Switch because it's turning into like the console to own now. Especially for children as well because of the whole Labo thing, and that's another discussion. I have another discussion on that. So if you want to go check that out, go ahead. But yeah, Breath of the Wild is right there. That it was originally supposed to be for the Wii U, but they delayed it. Probably a good idea. Considering the Switch is going to be a lot more versatile, or it's going to be a lot more popular. Just to be honest, I mean it's already outselling the Wii U, which is crazy. And I feel the worst thing about the Wii U is it just didn't get enough recognition. People ignored it. People thought it was just a Wii. Um, I mean, me living in Australia, there's not that many hardcore gamers. Simply, there's really not that many hardcore gamers. A lot of them are either casual or just um, they kind of shun gaming completely. And then if you ever have a conversation with someone, they always talk about the Wii or uh, that's all they know. They literally all they know is the Wii, and they get confused. So you really can't talk to them about the Wii U. The internet community is pretty much the only people that know about the Wii U and its exclusives. So, in the industry in general, like, this is the most anti-gamer country. It's not good. But yeah, you can't really have that many conversations about the Wii U without someone saying, "Oh, it's just Nintendo." And I mean, the Wii U is now a rare commodity because it's no longer in production, and I mean, it's a good thing to have at this point. Like, so you take care of that console. If you own a Wii U, don't let that thing die or anything, because as of now, it's probably considered rare just because of this low sales of the system, and also, I mean, how many great games are for it. And I haven't even listed some of the other great games that are on it, but I'll spend hours on the damn video if I do that. But overall, like, the system is great. I mean, it doesn't have the best features in that. It's got a good browser. I can say that. Not to say much, but like that's the best feature it really has. Like, you got Miiverse, which I looked in Miiverse and I had to turn it off. Other people have better opinions on Miiverse, but I think Miiverse was just kind of meh. It's more for like the younger people who don't know how to use the internet forums and stuff. But I mean, a lot of people love the Miiverse, so that's something. And then they added an app, a better app or something on your phone. So Miiverse became redundant. It also doesn't work anymore. So that's another thing. But Miiverse was there. That's just another feature, and everything else was just like, oh, there's really nothing else. They didn't even add themes or anything for the menu. So that's another thing. Like, so outside of exclusive games, there was nothing really much else going for the Wii U. But what was the most exciting thing for me about the Wii U was like it's Nintendo's first HD console. That was the most amazing thing to me when I first got the Wii U on launch day. I'm like, wow, we're finally playing HD Nintendo games. And let's talk about Nintendo Land. That was a clean launch game. If that had online, that game would be mint. Uh, that game would be so good. I imagine playing the Metroid Blast online. That would and Mario Run. Oh my god. Okay, enough about Nintendo Land. Great game. Should have had online. That's the one thing that was stopping that game from being amazing. But like, seriously, the Wii U is a solid buy. If you can manage to get it at a decent price pre-owned at this point, I'd say go for it and try to grab as many exclusive games as possible, because like you're just missing out as a gamer. Seriously, it doesn't matter if you dislike Nintendo or if you're like a predominantly a PlayStation guy, Xbox guy. It's worth checking out, even if you don't like Mario. I mean, it's hard to believe you're even a gamer if you dislike Mario, because Mario is just literally the mascot of gaming in general. But yeah, I mean, like, it's a solid damn system, and if my gamepad ever broke, I would cry because that's it at that point. And that's another thing. You're almost forced to use the gamepad with the system. You know, unless you find workarounds like that, or you can sort of block the signal from the gamepad and turn it off manually, therefore ignoring it completely. They didn't give you an option to sort of turn it off by itself, so that's one thing that really I hated about it. But yeah, I mean, it's like a super solid system overall, and I'm really happy with it. One of my favorite consoles, and couldn't live without it. It's really great. So anyway, I'm gonna close it off here. So you got to tell me what you think. How your experience was with the Wii U, and what do you think it's going to be like compared to the Switch in terms of exclusive games and that, and good and great games that are going to release. Um, yeah, that's pretty much. Follow me on Twitter, and I'll be streaming on Twitch, I guess, sometimes. So I'll catch you later in the next video.